For my Avocob cake, I will be needing 500 grams of flour, 250 grams of unsalted butter, and 250 grams of salted butter. Three teaspoon baking powder, 1 teaspoon baking soda, 350 grams of sugar, 500 grams of egg, 225 grams of milk, 1 teaspoon super milk flavor, milk emulsion flavor 1 teaspoon, milk oil flavor 1 teaspoon, royal blue color, orange color, and green color are to be used later. 1 teaspoon salt, now pour your butter into the mixing bowl. Remember the 250 grams of unsalted and the 250 grams of salted, making your total butter 500 grams. Now mix and gradually add in your sugar. If your mixer does not have a hole, just switch off, open it, and pour in your sugar. Mix at least for the next 10 minutes, then scrape to make sure you incorporate every part of the bowl, every butter inside the bowl, and then mix again for another 10 minutes. Remember, 10 minutes should be the least timing for your creaming of butter and sugar. Next, you pour in your baking powder, baking soda, and salt into your flour. This time I have not sieved it, so I have to use my sieve to add it. This is very necessary if you don't want any lumpy part of the baking powder to be in the cake. That particular side will be very bitter, meaning that when that lump did not dissolve inside the batter, anybody that eats that cake will tell you that your cake is bitter. That is why when you make a cake and you did not measure your baking powder, you just poured it in, at the end of the day you'll be getting a bitter taste. Now whip a little your egg, now the major reason why you must whip your egg is to make sure that both the yolk and the white, as long as this cake is concerned, is mixed together. I am not trying to overmix. If I want to overmix it, I will be able to use my hand mixer. But because I don't want to overmix it, I decided to use my hand. Just mix it. When you can see it's still elastic. When you see a little foam on top, you just leave it. A very little foam, not much. Now make available 3 bowls. Now each bowl is for 1 color. Remember, we have 3 colors for this cake. We are going to be adding the colors into the separate bowls, as no 2 colors should be together. Now this is my orange, and for my orange I am adding 1 teaspoon, and this is my blue, and from my blue I'm adding half teaspoon, and for my green also I'm adding half teaspoon. The reason is because the blue and the green are somehow dark, and I do not want the cakes to be too dark. Remember, the name of the cake is Avocob. Avoc there is gotten from avocado, and the O there is gotten from orange, and the B there is gotten from blue. That's why you call it Avocob. Now mix all of them, mix them separately and set them aside. Remember, while we're still doing this, the mixer is still creaming the butter and sugar. So now, let's check it out. Now mix it very well. Always remember to remove your bowl from the mixer and use your spatula and then mix. Make sure that every butter inside the pan is fully incorporated with the sugar. Then mix again for another 10 minutes. That is the least you can mix. That is to say, you can mix your butter and sugar more than 20 minutes. And then you can see how light. The first time when I carried it, it was still heavy. But this time around, it has incorporated more air, and then it is now lighter and very fluffy. So let's start mixing again. Now you start by adding your eggs. Then mix to combine. While that is going on, you can now add your flavors. Starting with your milk emulsion, milk oil, and super milk. Now mix to combine. Because remember, even if you're using your hand, you still have to mix it for some time for the egg to incorporate very well. Next, remove the bowl from the mixer and fold in your flour. Always do this. I can add my flour directly to the mixer, but the truth is I do not want it to overwhip. If you must do that, please make sure you lower your mixer before adding the flour. Now I'm adding my flour mixture in 3 batches. Why did I call it flour mixture? There is baking powder, there is baking soda, and there is salt inside the flour. Mix very well. Remember to alternate with your milk, starting with the flour and ending with the flour. Now you add another flour. I'm adding the flour in 3 batches. Try making sure that you are incorporating everything. Make sure your spatula reaches the bottom of the bowl as you are mixing to avoid settled eggs underneath the bowl. I've added the milk, the last milk, so the next one now is to add the last flour. Remember I say you start with flour and end with flour, alternating it with milk. After this, you now divide them into 3 bowls, 3 separate bowls, making sure they are equal. You can use your scale to do this. And even if anyone will be bigger, let it not be more than 3 to 5 grams. Let no one be bigger with more than 3 to 5 grams. So you can see I'm using my scale to weigh them. But if you can guess it, or maybe use a bigger spoon to measure and put into the tray, it's still okay. But just be sure that the difference is not too much. And then start adding your color. I'm starting with my green. Mix very well until the whole grain is incorporated into the batter. Next, pour into the prepared pans. I am also using my square pan 8 inches by 2 inches high. Tap them on the table anytime you finish pouring in your batter in a pan. Make sure you tap on a table to settle every batter down. Else you may have some hollow under the cake after baking. Now remember to make a well at the middle of the cake. This is to make sure that the cake comes to level after baking it. Now the same thing you do with that of the orange color. Now this cake is very good for children events. As I have them 3 different colors, when I am using it for a birthday, what I normally do is to bake the normal vanilla cake and put it in between the 3 colors. That is, I can start with my green, or I can even start with my if I'm starting with the whiter cakes, which like the vanilla, I'll start with my vanilla, maybe the first one. The second one can be orange or blue, the third one another vanilla, and the fourth one can be any of the colors, maybe the green, and the fourth one again, another vanilla. Then the fifth, just alternate it like that, and when you cut the cake, you'll be happy with yourself. It is mostly used for children's celebration cakes, for rainbow cakes, anything at all. You know how to make a rainbow cake. You divide them. You can make double of the recipe. Divide them into 7, or maybe triple the recipe. Divide them into 7 after everything, and put different colors in them all. Now bake each color in a different pan. Bring it together and cover it, and you have made your rainbow color cake. So in this particular cake, for this particular cake now, you can do anything with it. Now pour again into your pans, and then tap it on the table. Make a well at the middle on top. Make a well so that your cake will be level. Just like that, and you are good to go. The next thing you are going to do now is to bake the cake. Now send the cake. The oven has been preheating. Don't forget that, okay? Now bake the cake, and after that, here is our final result. So is this not lovely? You can see the green, the blue, and the orange. They are all looking very beautiful. So let's flip over and see how the under baked. Remember, I brought it out from the oven, allowed it to cool down for 10 minutes. Don't skip this, because if you're baking a softer cake, you don't allow it to cool down. When you want to flip over, everything will scatter. So you can see the cake is very soft. So you have to make sure it cools down for at least 10 minutes before you flip over. Oh wow, everything came out perfectly fine. Try out this cake. The taste is very yummy. You can't believe it. Then make sure you show me your own. That is, let me see what you're able to practice out of it, the result of your cake. You can decide to make half of the recipe and then use smaller pans, like 3 of your 6 inches pan. It will still give you the same result, okay? When you divide the recipe, you reduce the size of your pans and practice. It will still give you the same result. Okay dear, see you all in the next class.